What's up, everybody? We're back with another 10 things. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today, we're going to be looking at the uh, 10, 10 monsters to challenge a low level party. Now, with that, this is for, we've talked on Table Breakers about high level parties. We've also talked about low levels. These are some monsters that you can throw at your players to really, the lower level specifically. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. So, number 10, Mimic makes looting a dangerous endeavor. This is very true. Element of surprise can make a huge difference in combat. It turns out in D&D. There are no better creature to challenge a party of new adventurers in this way than the mimic. The creature is also so iconic. It's also an iconic monster within the game. Encountering Windsor will be a memorable experience for the whole table. Now, I will say that there is times when you do fight the mimic. There are times you run away from the mimic. I can think of a few modules actually out there. One of them being Rapanathuk, where you don't want to fight the mimic. It's actually got like godlike powers, so it can make uh, make that uh, thing as is a runaway or engage as you see fit as a game master. Um, they can you can be anything from a table to a chair to a toilet to even the as it shows here in the picture, the treasure chest. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you can throw at a party that are actually kind of fun to watch, to see how they break down, especially if you have a loot hungry party here. Uh, yeah, it's definitely a fun thing. A Manticore is a dangerous taste of Greek mythology. Yeah, the Manticore is another fun one to throw at them. Originally based on a creature from Greek mythology, as many of the monsters in D&D are, the Manticore is a dangerous combination of a lion and dragon, with a tail that can launch deadly spikes and horrific semi-human face that adds to its fearsomeness. Even a single Manticore can pose a threat for a low-level party. It's got the bites, the claws, the spiked tail. It can do heavy damage quickly, and it has a fly. So, especially if you want to, and she's not so pretty. I'm sorry to say, but it is definitely a fun thing to have there for your players. Wyrmling, they are small but dangerous dragons. And this one just kind of explains itself here. It is literally a baby dragon. So while D&D has moved far beyond simply being dungeon crawl game, dragons remain an integral part of many of the settings and always capture the imaginations of players and dungeon masters alike. While most dragons will be far beyond anything a low-level party can face, a wormling is a good way to introduce these creatures early on. Yeah, it- they, they can be extremely uh, dangerous, especially with different colors, just as your normal dragon. Breath attack tied to a specific environment. A party venturing cold wastes to the north might encounter a white wormling. In the forest, a green, which of course, is acid. Uh, so yeah, it can be very much fun to see how this goes. And if they're in a swamp, you've got the black. If in a very fiery or like volcanic region. Could be a red. Definitely a way to introduce this. And it's also it can be a lot of fun for the actual players, especially if you have new players who've not come across any dragons whatsoever. The dragons can definitely hold their own mystique, I guess is the best way to put it. Uh, Green hags. Any hag, uh, they challenge them outside of combat. This is also good because being able to challenge those players outside of combat is definitely a great thing that you can do. Uh, Hags are essentially D&D's versions of classic evil fairy tale witch, tackling over cauldrons bubbling full of disgusting ingredients. Green hags, in particular, will make an excellent mini boss for any bit of travel that takes the players through a dark and haunted forest. You know, can't talk tonight. You know, misdirection, subterfuge, anything like that is always great for a group of players because then they have to actually it's not always the hack and slash. Sometimes they have to use their minds on what they're doing. This is actually one of my buddy Bruce's favorite ones here, a Lamia. Lamia is a perfect boss for any low level dungeon within a desert setting, using charm and illusion to lure victims to their doom. They're dangerous both physically and magically and will prove difficult for any party that comes upon them unprepared. Typically, Lamias appear as a human woman from the waist up in the body of a lion. Uh, though they possess the ability to disguise their form, they have an insatiable thirst for chaos and hunger for flesh. They will often have captured slaves to serve them under compulsion of fear or magic, making them even more dangerous than they would be alone. So yeah, they can send all kinds of their friends and I do that loosely, friends, to go and take care of it before they have to. Hill giants, they're dumb but strong. This is very true. Hill giants may be the smallest and least dangerous of giants, but they will still prove a huge challenge for any low level group based on their sheer physical strength. However, a clever party may find a way to outsmart these creatures as they are the stupidest giants as well as the smallest. Uh, Average hill giant stands 16 feet tall, which, though small compared to the other kinds, will make them tower over any character not enhanced by an enlarged spell. Though they may be easily outwitted, should worse come to worse, the hill giant's fearsome strength can make quick work of even the toughest low level party members. So, yeah, the hill giants are actually extremely fun on the DM side, especially if you have a quick witted party that can actually move them at like a pawn on a chessboard, and a lot of it is the uh using their wits to outsmart it, so which is really good. Ghosts add an extra layer of fear in any quest. Lurking in the haunted places of the world, an unlucky party may have the misfortune of crossing paths with a ghost, and if they do, it will often be wiser to flee than to fight. Should the party choose the latter, they should be prepared for a difficult encounter. So, with ghosts, you can use these actually in two different ways. You can either use them in a way of the uh, helpful kind. Uh, a lot of there's a couple of quests or a couple of things that I know of in Patolis where the ghosts actually will help give some information to the party. They will also help them work through things. Then you have not so nice entities that will actually hurt them, possess them. Uh, they're incorporeal, so they have to definitely have magical weapons to fight them. Your spell slingers are going to be your biggest thing with this, is just for the simple fact of it's the only way you're really going to hurt them. So it could actually be one of those fight or flight type things. If they run from it, even better. And it's a good thing just to kind of throw out there to see what they can do. They could also, it could be a use it as a intellectual entity also, that they can it can go one or two ways. Either they get the ghost to help them, or the ghost will fight them. It depends on what your group makeup is and how you want to do this as a GM. Werewolves are as iconic as they are dangerous. The most classic example of creature cursed by lycanthropy is the werewolf, and makes excellent enemy for a low level party, in part because it is so recognizable in popular culture. Even without metagaming, it's quite plausible for many characters to know about lycanthrope's greatest weakness, silver. And to that point also, I've also seen where DMs have, had a fight with a lycanthrope, either werewolf, bear. It the were creatures are pretty open there. And yes, silver is their weakness, but causing that curse on a player in the group can also help change that dynamic. Uh, however, even if the party does come armed with the right weapons, the werewolves can still prove dangerous foe for a new venturing party. For one, its ability to change forms means it is not an obvious target right away, and even worse, being subjected to the bite may curse a party member with lycanthropy themselves, as I said. Uh, which that can lead to some amazing RP uh, sessions for them to be able to have the curse removed, among other things. Shadow demons thrive in the darkness. Formed when the essence of a demon is unable to return to the abyss, a shadow demon is one with the darkness, able to move nearly unseen through the shadows. It makes it particularly dangerous when it's in its element, where it becomes far more dangerous. Now these are fun to also throw at parties, just for the simple fact of they have to think ahead. They have to be able to figure out what they're going to do. Um, Though vulnerable within the light, this creature can still pose a great threat to a low level group, especially ones who are not prepared. Encountering such a demon also provide uh, the challenge, the scary challenge. The party has to attempt to force this shadowy creature into the light. Which you could. This is There's so many ways you can do this with a cave, with a even a cursed town, or where they've taken up residence in maybe a fallen deity's church, uh, type thing. Even though they're on former holy ground, which is where they thrive. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go with this. uh, Last but not least, revenants are nearly unstoppable forces of dread. One of the most dangerous forms of undead a party might encounter at lower levels is a revenant. The revenant is a corpse possessed by an unwavering drive for revenge against ones who killed it. Should this somehow be put them at odds with the players, it's best to have prepared for a dangerous encounter. Though the Revenant is an enemy dangerous for its physical prowess, its ability to regenerate makes it difficult to slay in combat. Even worse, the Revenant cannot be defeated under normal circumstances. Should its body be destroyed, it will inhabit a new corpse within 24 hours. Players will need to get creative they tend to stop such a powerful foe. So this could wind up being one of your returning bosses, because maybe they don't know they need to banish the spirit, so to speak, within the 24 hours. So that is one nice thing about with the difference of undeads, is that it does give the DM a lot, not necessarily power, but a lot of flexibility on what they can do. And using a revenant is always a good thing, because you know what? Maybe it's someone the party accidentally slain. I mean, that could be, one of the great things here. So with that, that concludes this 10 things. Make sure you do check out the red bubble down below, because we do have shirts, hats, blankets, everything on there. So make sure you do check that out. Also, definitely make sure you do subscribe and you like and share. Uh, I want to thank everybody for spending a little bit of time with me today. Let me go over this with you. If you've got any comments about what you think maybe your favorite low level creature is, go ahead and throw that down in the comments here. And you folks have a great day.